Hey everyone, this is Rachel with Songbird Crafts Inc., formerly Stamping Songbird. Today I'm going to show you this folio that I created just using two pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I just added one end to the other and then I split it so that it was even on either side. And the full measurements are 8.5 by 19 and 3/8. And then I just scored at 6 and 6.5 on one side to create this little gusset, and then I flipped it over and scored at 6 and 6.5 again on the other side to create it on that side so that it just opens and closes. And then I'm just going to add some more cardstock on the inside, some decorative paper, and create this album. So I have this beautiful set of paper from Echo Park, I believe. It is a dinosaur set, or it could be Cartabella. Anyway, it's called Dinosaurs. And I'm going to use some of this beautiful paper to mat the inside. And I am not giving like full dimensions here because I'm not really a person who makes folios or albums. I just sit down and I start putting paper together, and just whatever comes out, comes out. But I wanted to show you that if you're a person who cannot follow a lot of directions, like I cannot follow too many directions, it's just a little, I get overwhelmed. Just sit down and start playing with your paper, and you can create a folio with the basic shape of a book or a folder. So here I am matting this, the black parts on the inside with this beautiful paper. And I chose the same for the left and the right, and then something different for the middle. And the middle part is a lot wider than the two on the side. Okay, so I'm going to use this paper for the front panel on the left side, and I'm using double-sided tape to adhere that. And then when I flip the right side, I'm using the same pattern paper so that everything is matching. If you haven't guessed already, this is for my grandson because he is the dinosaur expert at 3 years old. But I wanted to make a little album for pictures of him with his dinosaurs. So on the back, I'm using this paper that looks like reptile skin. Excuse my head in the way. All right, so I also put that same paper on this part, which is also in the middle. So these two flaps are 8 3/4 by 8 1/4, and then I just have 1/8 of an inch, I think, that I scored on the side so that I can attach this so that they kind of open and close or flip-flop. And I had to keep adjusting the sizes just to make sure that they would close. And then I'm just going to attach that with the double-sided tape. But I have to say that after I put all of this together, everything I attached that moved like this, open and close, with the double-sided tape ended up coming loose. So I did use some E6000 to repair it off camera. Okay, so now those two pieces are in place, and now I am adding some decorative paper from the dinosaur set onto both flaps on the outside parts and also on the inside parts. But I end up with a little faux pas, and I don't realize it until now, where you can see the flaps where that brown paper is. So eventually I have to cover that up because you shouldn't really see it. I should have put the flaps on first and then the paper. So here are two pieces of paper that are 5.5 by I think it's 3 3/8, and the left, the right, and the bottom part are also scored at about 1/8 of an inch, so I can create a pocket. I'm matting the front with this green paper that matches the front and the back of the album, and then I'm placing some of the images from the cardstock. So I just cut those to fit the size or the width of these pockets. Then I attach double-sided tape and eventually add some E6000 to make sure that those stay in place. So these pockets will hold smaller pictures, note cards, whatever you want it to hold. I think the next time I make one of these, I'll just make one big pocket. And you can see the background paper on the sides. It would look better if the pocket went all the way to the end. But like I said, I'm just doing this on a whim. I sit down and I just start cutting and putting things together. You can see that those cards don't fit. So because of that, I will have to put those cards on another pocket that I need to make. So I'm going to make that pocket on the left side. So here's a longer pocket. I don't have the measurements for you, but it does measure the close to the same length and of the left side. And then the width is a little more than 3 inches. So I measured to see if those cards fit there. And what I'm going to do with the cards is place my grandson's pictures on the back of them so that all those pictures can just be grabbed from that pocket. Okay, so here I fixed that mistake with the flaps that you could see the part that was glued on, and I just took another piece of that reptile skin paper and just placed it over it. All right, now I'm grabbing some black cardstock so that I can create some spaces to place pictures that will also serve as matting for the pictures. So for the bigger spaces, I am adding the black paper right there. I believe it measures 4.5 by 6.5, something like that. So you can definitely put a 4 by 6 picture there without a problem. I add some double-sided tape, and then in this little mat here, I put the backing back on the paper, on the black part of the paper. That doesn't make any sense, but I did that so that it wouldn't stick to the first mat that's on the top left. Okay, so these are all the cards that are going on the left. That pocket is almost done. I am going to put some decoration on the front of that pocket so that it matches the pockets that are on the right side. Okay, so here is that paper. I had a little hard time finding it. I think it went under one of my piles. And then I just placed that right across, and it fits perfectly. All right. So that pocket has space for pictures. The middle has space for 2 pictures. And I'm going to add some more mats. I think I add 1 more or 2 more mats and a cover. So my grandson's favorite dinosaur is the Triceratops, which I love that he loves that dinosaur. It was my brother's favorite dinosaur as a child too, so that means a lot to me. I matted that picture. I cut it to size, and then I just matted it, and I'm going to place it on the front cover. Nothing fancy, but I realized I need something to close the folio. So I grabbed some ribbon. Unfortunately, all I had was pink, blue, white, and yellow. So I grabbed the yellow. Make sure that the length is gonna go over around the entire folio. I make sure that they're even, and then I add some double-sided tape to the center. You won't even see the double-sided tape because it is almost the same width as the yellow ribbon. So I make sure that that's adhered to the front and the back of the album with the double-sided tape. And then I'll be able to just tie a bow on the side to open and close, and because there's double-sided tape there, the ribbon will not fall off. Then I place the Triceratops right on the top, and there's the album. I am missing a mat here. I think I add a mat in this spot, and then basically the album is done. I've already added pictures to it offline. I didn't want to put my grandson's pictures on here, but this is basically it. You don't need any formal training or any special workshops or anything. Just sit down and play with your paper. Use the basic shape of a folio or a folder, and you can get this done. I hope this inspired you to try this at home. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what you want to see next. Until next time, happy crafting. And remember to be the reason that someone smiles. Bye-bye.